For ray casting, it's actually just a ray that's being cast. What this means is basically it fires a line and it checks if there's anything in intersection with it. It's how video games use, for example, a gun fires and it checks whether or not it has hit an enemy or not. And so in this way, it finds an intersection, and 3D space is basically just 2D, but with a third coordinate value. So you can just use the coordinate value to show where it is. So for example, 1, 1, 1, because instead of XY, it's just XYZ. So it's still possible. And so for demonstration, it's going to look like this, which is how, if you've ever played those games where there are thief and police, how the police check that they see you is basically like this. Sometimes it's more optimized or more complicated in order to save time and resources. And so for pathfinding, basically what this does is it runs in a loop, which means that it assigns a F value to every score. So F value is basically H plus G. And so G is the steps taken and H is the estimated steps to goal. It uses a Manhattan distance estimate, which basically the difference between those two is a Euclidean distance estimate would look something like this from point A to point B. But a Manhattan estimate would look something like this. So because you can't really just get like through here. So what this does is it finds the shortest route, and so it records the tile we came from, and so when we hit the goal we can trace backwards to the parents to reconstruct the path like this. So if we place it here and then here and then here, oh no, wait, it's gonna look something like, wait, random walls, it's gonna look something like this. And if we do it again, it's always gonna find it. And it's going to check the least amount of tiles using, the Manhattan estimate. And so that's basically the code here. For projectile physics, it's probably the simplest one out of all of them. So basically, these are all different speeds. So basically, we have two variables, Vx and Vy. Vx is for the x value, and Vy is for the y value. That's basically it. The reason the arc is parabolic is because, parabolic, like the curve, it's because the x is moving at a constant rate and the Vy is growing linearly. And so that creates this sort of curve. There's a tick or so which checks how much the value should be, and how much or how many ticks there should be really changes a lot. And so for this one, it's a hitbox value. So basically, it's a simple value showing how, games calculate things like people or, hitting each other. That's how they do it. It's really simple. They all must be overlapping. It's like an AABB algorithm. So we run this every frame or every tick, depends on what you use. And sometimes you use this thing called spatial partitioning, quad trees, grids, whatever, but